Have you ever felt like you know English words and grammar, but when you try to speak, everything just disappears? Your mind goes blank, you can't find the right words, and when you do speak, it sounds nothing like native speakers. I remember when I first started learning Spanish, I knew hundreds of words, but couldn't hold a simple conversation. I sounded like a robot reading from a dictionary. Frustrating, right? Well, today I'm going to share a secret technique that helped me overcome this exact problem. It's simple, it's effective, and you can start doing it today, even if you're just beginning your English journey. Hi there, I'm Henry, and welcome to ChillTalk English, the podcast that helps you learn practical English in a relaxed way. You know, when I first started teaching English, I noticed that my students could do grammar exercises perfectly, but struggled to speak naturally. I remember one student, Maria, who knew all the verb tenses but was too afraid to order coffee in English. That's when I discovered shadowing, and it completely changed how I teach speaking skills. In today's episode, I'm going to guide you through shadowing practice for beginners. Don't worry if you've never heard of this before. I'll explain everything step by step. And hey, if you find this helpful, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to ChillTalk English. It really helps us reach more learners like you. So, what exactly is shadowing? Shadowing is when you listen to someone speak and immediately repeat what they say, trying to match their pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation as closely as possible. It's like being their echo. Shadowing matters because it helps your mouth muscles get used to making English sounds, trains your ear to understand natural speech, and builds your confidence in speaking. Think about it this way. If you want to become good at playing the piano, you don't just read about music, you actually play the piano, right? The same is true with speaking English. You need to actually speak English to become good at speaking English. And shadowing is one of the best ways to do that, especially for beginners. Clear explanation of the main idea. Shadowing is simple but powerful. Here's how it works. You listen to a short piece of audio, maybe just one sentence to start, and then you repeat it immediately, trying to sound exactly like the speaker. You're shadowing them, following their speech pattern closely. Imagine you're learning to dance. You wouldn't just read about dancing, you'd watch someone dance and try to copy their movements, right? Shadowing is like that for language. You're copying the dance of English, how the words flow together, where the stress falls, how the voice goes up and down. For example, if you hear someone say, "I'm going to the store," you don't just repeat the words. You try to copy how they said it. Maybe they said, "I'm gonna," instead of "I'm going to," and maybe their voice went up a bit at the end. You try to make your voice sound exactly like theirs. The magic of shadowing is that it helps you connect what you hear with what you say. It builds pathways in your brain between listening and speaking, and the more you practice, the more natural English starts to feel in your mouth. Step-by-step tips, methods, or exercises. Okay, let's get to the practical part. Here are 5 simple steps to start your shadowing practice today. Tip 1. Start with short, simple audio clips. Don't try to shadow a long speech or a fast movie scene. Start with very short audio. Just one sentence at first. Look for audio that is slow and clear. Many English learning podcasts, like this one, have episodes designed for beginners. You can also find special slow English videos online. The important thing is that you can clearly hear each word and understand what is being said. For example, you might start with something simple, like, "Hello, my name is John." Listen to it once, then listen again and repeat immediately after the speaker. Do this several times until you feel comfortable. Tip 2. Focus on rhythm and intonation first, then pronunciation. When you start shadowing, don't worry too much about getting every single sound perfect. First, focus on the rhythm, the music of English. Notice which words are stressed, said louder and clearer, and which are not. Notice how the voice goes up and down. This is called intonation. For example, in English, we usually stress the important words in a sentence, like nouns and verbs. So in "I'm going to the store," store would be stressed. Try to copy this stress pattern. Once you get the rhythm right, then you can work on perfecting individual sounds. Tip 3. Begin with slower audio and gradually increase speed. This is super important. Start with slow, clear English. There are many resources specifically designed for English learners with slower speech. As you get better at shadowing the slow audio, gradually move to slightly faster speed. Think of it like training for a race. You don't start by running a marathon. You start with short, slow runs and gradually build up your speed and endurance. It's the same with shadowing. Start slow, and as you get more confident, challenge yourself with slightly faster audio. Tip 4. Record yourself and compare. This might feel a little strange at first, but it's incredibly helpful. Use your phone to record yourself shadowing the audio. Then listen to the original audio, followed by your recording. Can you hear differences? Don't worry if you don't sound exactly the same at first. That's normal. The goal is to notice the differences and try to get a little closer next time. As you go, explain useful words or expressions in simple terms. For example, you might notice that the speaker said, "I'd like a cup of coffee," but you said, "I would like a cup of coffee." That's great! Now you know that native speakers often use contractions like "I'd" instead of "I would," and you can work on that next time. Tip 5. Practice consistently, but in short sessions. Consistency is key. It's much better to practice shadowing for 5 to 10 minutes every day than for 2 hours once a week. Your brain needs regular practice to build those connections between listening and speaking. Try to make shadowing a daily habit. Maybe you do it while you're making breakfast in the morning, or during your commute to work, or right before bed. Find a time that works for you and stick with it. And remember, short sessions are fine. Even 5 minutes of focused shadowing practice can make a big difference over time. So, what can you expect as you practice shadowing? Let's look at what might happen. After one day, you might feel a bit strange talking to yourself, but you'll probably notice that you're more aware of how English sounds. You might start noticing the rhythm and stress in sentences you hear throughout the day. That's a great first step. After 1 week, if you've been practicing daily for just 5 to 10 minutes, you'll probably find that shadowing feels more natural. Your mouth muscles are getting used to making English sounds. And you might even find yourself using some of the phrases you've practiced in your own conversations. Exciting, right? After 1 month. Wow! A month of consistent shadowing practice can make a real difference. You'll likely notice that your pronunciation has improved, and you're starting to understand spoken English more easily. You might even catch yourself thinking in English sometimes. Your confidence in speaking will have grown, and conversations in English will feel less intimidating. Learning a language is a journey, and shadowing is like having a reliable map to guide you. Think of it this way. When you plant a seed, you don't see results immediately, right? You water it regularly, give it sunlight, and with time, it grows into a strong plant. Shadowing is like watering your English skills. Each practice session helps you grow a little bit stronger. Remember, every expert was once a beginner. Every person who speaks English fluently started exactly where you are now. They made mistakes, they felt frustrated sometimes, but they kept going. And you can too. Think about learning to ride a bike. At first, it feels impossible. You wobble, you might fall, but then something clicks. Your brain and body work together and you're riding. Shadowing practice is like that. At first, it might feel awkward, but then one day you'll realize that English is starting to flow more naturally. You've got this. Every minute you spend practicing is a step forward. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate small victories. And remember that progress is progress, no matter how small it seems. So, how can you use shadowing in your daily life? Here are some simple ways. First, try shadowing with everyday phrases you hear or use often. For example, when you order coffee, listen carefully to how the barista speaks and try to shadow their pronunciation of, "What can I get for you today?" or "Is that everything?" Second, use TV shows and movies for shadowing practice. Choose a character who speaks clearly, pause after each sentence, and repeat what they said. Start with children's shows or sitcoms where the language tends to be simpler and clearer. Third, shadow your English-speaking friends or colleagues. Of course, don't do this while they're talking to you. That would be strange. But if you're in a meeting or class, pay attention to how people speak and practice later. Fourth, use technology to help. Many language learning apps have shadowing exercises built in. You can also use YouTube videos designed for English learners, which often include pauses for you to repeat. Finally, incorporate shadowing into your daily routines. Shadow while you're getting dressed in the morning, while you're washing dishes, or while you're walking to work. These small moments of practice add up. Let's quickly review the main tips from today's episode. Start with short, simple audio clips. One sentence at a time is fine. Focus on rhythm and intonation first, then work on pronunciation. Begin with slower audio and gradually increase speed as you improve. Record yourself and compare with the original to notice differences. Practice consistently, but in short sessions. 5 to 10 minutes daily is perfect. Remember, shadowing is about listening and repeating, trying to sound as much like the original speaker as possible. It's a powerful technique to improve your speaking fluency, especially for beginners. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to remind you that improving your English speaking skills is absolutely possible. Shadowing is a simple but effective tool that can help you sound more natural and confident in English. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your progress, and keep practicing. If you found this episode helpful, I invite you to listen again and practice the shadowing techniques we discussed. Repetition is key to learning. And don't forget to check out our other episodes here at ChillTalk English for more practical tips to improve your English. You're on an exciting journey, and every step forward is worth celebrating. I believe in you, and I know you can do this. Keep practicing, stay positive, and enjoy the process of learning English. This is Henry from ChillTalk English, saying goodbye for now. Remember, keep chillin', keep talking, and keep improving your English. See you next time.